Hi on Instagram, hi on Facebook. And today I am very excited to tell you more about my distilled program that I am presenting soon to you, because I see that there's a lot going on in this world right now. I see a need for, we don't need to make it more complicated. I do see a need for, there's usually a lot of people jumping on what is, more in the talk of the people, like immunity or immunity, and how to make a body healthier, and how to do not this and to do more this, and how to increase more exercises. My experiences with conveying that, first of all, there are some good programs out. I have checked them out, and I'm as well as you are looking always on the internet, what's new and what are the people interested in, and what are people looking for. And then I realized that, usually it stays, the majority of the program stays in keeping you in that concept of not really increasing or changing that what's necessary. So you probably ask, how can she say that, right? So yeah, I'm starting to eat healthy, I'm starting to do more practices, and I'm starting to pick up another job, and this is now a better job, or things like that. Well, let me look into or say what I realized that happened over a longer period in my own life, and probably you can reflect on that in your life. We will find similarities because we are humans, right? So as humans, as social creatures and beings, we are born with certain programming, and we are socializing, and we are believing our internal programming as it shows up as proven in the outside world. So what I mean with that is, like, okay, so we are going through certain stages in our life, and in certain stages, certain things happen because they're naturally happening like that. So, we are born, and then we grow, and this is happening, and I can see that the baby is growing extremely fast, like my grandchild right now, Johanna. So I haven't even seen her yet, being in America, and she is in Germany right now, but I at least updated on the pictures, and see some photos and videos. And she's growing rapidly. So that's the fastest growing phase of a baby. And then childhood has its phases where between probably 10, 9 years there might be changes, then changes in our 15, 16 years of age, and so on. So there are phases in a human person's life span on this planet, and that's undeniable. So what is not a given is the assumption we are making out of that. And those assumptions, like, okay, I'm getting some gray hair, right? So the assumption for the most people is, oh, I'm aging, I'm getting older. I don't have that concept. It's a concept. I am subject to the natural processes. Doesn't mean that I now stop taking healthy food in, or can't do certain practices of sports anymore because I'm so-called aged. I certainly disagree to that, and it is about switching from a state of what you are trained and learned and make assumptions about, because everyone else does the same. So you're staying actually in the same house, so to speak. Everyone is doing the same because we're social creatures and we're following the mass. That's normal, it feels comfortable because we're feeling safe in the mass. And as soon as someone is like, hey, now I see this a little bit different, it doesn't mean you deny the whole mass. It's not correct. I mean, not in my concept, right? So, but it's saying, can we expand a little bit further and look if we can look at the mass and what's happening right now a little bit from an extended position or expanded position. So this means you're actually moving out of the house and entering hopefully a new house. So say I'm entering or exiting the house of unhealthy and unwell, and entering the house of health and new well-being, increased vitality. So when you enter into this new house, the other is not more there. And that's a given, right? So if we want to have a healthy state, then why are we continuing talking about those concepts that keeps our programming alive and talking about it and go for like, oh, did you hear about that this person had an accident? Did you hear about that this person has died? Why do we do that? So as we become more conscious about that, so we say, does it do any good to our well-being? Does it do any good for my personal health state? And you're actually starting to move away and out of the house. That comes with a little bit in the beginning, a little bit of bittersweet taste, because what happens is you are probably experience like a singling out of the group where you have been in because you're not more going in the same house. So there's this transition time of, well, I don't really want to go in this house anymore. So now I'm moved to the other house. So, and I don't know who's expecting or what is expected and who is in the other house. That's understandable. So bear with me. I have lived that as well. So if I find something that's really not healthy for me in any given moment, then in order to pick up the mask first, right, the air mask in an airplane first, in order to survive, certain things will happen. And I have, I'm not proud about all of my, say, happenings, so decisions that I made over the years, but at the moment when I made them, that was what I knew about and what I knew how to conserve my own energy and not to go under, right? So that I can leave an old house and move on through a phase that seems to be really unsettled and really unclear into a new house. So the new house is health and well-being. And now let me look at the concept, what I will bring into the program. I will go even a step further. So I do think that everyone understands that concept. It's a concept. But I mean, if that helps to bring you from what is unhealthy and what doesn't make you to bring your highest potential, what you're capable of, then it would be, I think, better to at least use a concept of moving away from what is not feeling so good to you to the new one. And now what I add to it, due to my own experiences. I have now really, almost a lifelong experience track that I can say in my young age and my teenage years, I have been this way. And now I'm in a more healthier state on the path to really find my potential. and apply my potential and make it simple enough for in daily life also to show up. So it's more to the point now that the concepts are more like integrating into my system. They become more natural, second nature type of, and now I'm more curious how it shows up in my life. That I have messed up is a proven, as well as I have succeeded, it's a proven. So, well, I come from the bottom, rock bottom, where people can be, and I did also come to an exceeding, beyond my own imagination point. So, and that is where I'm going with you as well. I know there's a lot of people out, they are hurt, they are suffering, and they are not finding their way out. And a lot of good programs are out, I have to say, but a lot of them are very complicated or start on a level where I feel that is not the starting point. I see there's a lot of good programs that could potentially bring even more to you. I mean, if you apply for it and if you, I mean, buy this program or train it or practice it. What I'm missing is one key element. And I will come out right from the get-go with that one key element. If that is not in it, then no matter what you touch, it will not get you the same potential that you could get out of I mean, even daily life activities. So it doesn't need, you don't really need a lot of more on your plate. That's a given. Everyone is probably more happy to hear that the program I'm creating and introducing to you over now the next period of time will have more and the elements of elimination in it, so that you are able to actually continue without being stressed out, going on with your daily life, and then we will make changes to certain things, and so certain things will be tested out with that one key element, and that makes the whole ball game a little bit easier because it's one major key element. And it's extremely interesting to me that I have a couple of clients that I have been, I mean, directly working with, and it's extremely interesting that even if you give them the gold in their hand, that they are not grasping on how important this is and drop it like it's nothing and don't get the results. But when I encourage them and explain it and from different angles, and so bring it more closer to how the importance for themselves would be, and they start to do it, then they get result. They are, I mean, for me, it's blown away. So, all right, so let's look in this one key element. So I promise to you, I even did this with my hubby, and my hubby is a sweet man. I love him so much, and he has, you know, with my concepts, you know, when you're married, and I'm fully into it, I'm talking about it, you know, so you get tiresome to the person that's with you, right? But I love it. So I love it. I love talking about it, and even he understood. So let me share. So that's there's that central focus that we need to keep. And the key element is that we have an inner master, and we need to focus on our inner master, stay anchored with our inner master, and then that's our tool in order to connect to the bigger master, so to speak, the universal master, since they are coming from the same source, so to speak. And when we are able to awakening a clear consciousness, which is the healer, which is the absolute healer, then we have a chance to set ourselves free, to change anything you want, to also have a feeling of coming home. So the key element is to connect to home base and stay connected to home base, and no matter what. And this will take a little bit an explanation. You know, I mean, I don't want to say this is we focus on God or on Buddha or on I mean divine beings. I don't want to say that only, but you need to find your own description, what it is that is bigger than you, and that is your home base. So we will determine that. So why is it so important to have that? Well, I mean, first of all, most people start on an aspect of themselves, like the physical body is an aspect of yourself. You're not the physical body. I mean, you know that by now, hopefully. And you know that you're made up of forms of energy. So the physical body is vibrating quite densely. So that's why we can experience the physical body as it is. But it's vibrating. And it's just, you know, how I say the speed is not, or the frequency and speed is not the same as if it's in an energetic state. So it's higher of a frequency and a speed. So, and then when you go in the higher levels, then just it's a change of the frequencies and of the speed of it. So, but what's happening is on the physical body, most people only sense that. They use their senses and make their assumption on that's all there is. Well, you know, I mean, there's energy all around that, and we will learn how to experience the energy also around, and then learn how to bring actually, in order to become healthier and stronger from a physical standpoint, right? So then we would need to gather more of the energy. So you bring more towards you, or those people, they have a mass, they are, say, have a growth of any nature, you want to disperse that. You want to, like, if there's something happening, you know, so you have a growth in your belly, as an example, you want to also be able to disperse that. So there's a possibility to do so. And no matter what, we do need a flow of energy. We need an uninterrupted flow of energy in order to help that process. We also need to gather that energy. So you also will be then introduced to, there are different levels of those energies, so to speak, and they all have information. And this information is also on different levels. And the most important information is that what we call our home base is a singularity, it's a single information. And it's so tiny and so simple that nothing can divide that further into a smaller piece. So it's so small, it's like a thought. It's just one thought. It's nothing, you know, would probably interrupt your thought pattern. One thought can't interrupt a belief structure that much. But that one thought has the ability, because it's so small, it's like when you have several thoughts, they start to weave together as chains, as forms of chain, thought chains and pattern. And so then they actually are like hooking together and structured together. So they are not more so flexible as a thought, right? And then when you have more of those chains, like threads, then you can weave them together to even more construct. And now they are even more bound into that structure. So as you may notice, a certain trigger will cause chains of thoughts to arise in your body, causing trigger reaction and changes in your chemistry along the way, causing you to feel a certain way then and to have physical appearances. So those are those chains and those constructs. So, but again, that single thought is able to go through all of that. It doesn't stuck because it's free. And that's our home base, isn't it, right? So we all want to be free. We all want to feel, not, how you say, dependent or codependent on anything. We do, intermingle as human beings. Of course, we are in some way dependent on that the earth is carrying us. We're dependent on that the air is around us. We're dependent on that the baker is baking your bread in the morning that you want to eat, because you're doing, and as an electrician, a different work. So we are all interwoven with each other. But you're free in order to choose. You're not attached. You don't have to be attached. That's not the same for those chains and those structured, even stronger chains, so to speak, like when they are more getting into an structured information ball, so to speak. So they are stuck, they're tight, they are stuck to each other. So, well, if we start to connect with that one thought, that single thought, that has the ability, the information of the whole in it. As you may know, that's a holistic feature. Every cell in your body has a holistic feature, the imprint of your whole body to replicate. You may know that. But every cell is built with a building block, like a hologram. It has the ability and the information of the whole of your body. So that is a feature that one single thought is carrying as well. So coming from that perspective, saying, okay, now we have a new information, and since if I hold on to that one single thought, I can travel through all these structures, that is therefore free and able to penetrate and go through. And so therefore, going through your unhealthy thoughts, going through your destructive behaviors, going through. And that one single thought we can stamp with the word love. So that might be the easiest to describe. That is the unconditional love that we're all longing for. So in the program, what we are doing is we are going back over and over and over again from different angles, nothing more, but nothing less, in order to infiltrate the rest, to to come now from that old house you have been building, right, and entering the new house that is now also learning to include the old house. So we build this in a way that the old house is not completely left out. No, we go first in the new house and learn how to navigate in the new house, in your new well-being, and then see how we can integrate the old house so that it becomes altogether a new house for everyone to be happy in the house, right? So to influence now the unhealthy with the healthy people, so to speak, the healthy cells in your body infiltrating and surrounding the unhealthy, and inform them, right? So inform them about the healthy state. And that can be trained. So what we need for that is we do need more energy, more life force energy for that. That is number one. And we do need to practice on 3 aspects of it. That's number 2. So on a physical level, yeah, it's connected with, we need to do some practices. But I'm already pointing out some practices, and we need to repeat them for a persistent time in order to gather and create the healthy life form information and disperse the unhealthy one, and allow that. All right, and allow that to happen. So we also would need on a chi level that the energy is able to gather, as we already said, and then be able to create movement in, also in your cells, in your lymph system, in your liquids, the fluids of the body. So they are benefiting from being, then motivated to start to move. And when that happens, you know also that toxins and waste products are much easier to be able to be transported or dispersed. And then, of course, the third aspect is on our consciousness, the way how we think. That is the level where that what can happen in the universe is all sitting between those 2 eyes, right, and the ears, right? That's our capacity center, so to speak. And I don't know if you know, but you probably notice that we as conscious beings are the only species on the planet that is capable of overriding consciously natural laws, nature in the way how it's presented. And that is, we know that now, so that we can use it for the improvement and embetterment of the whole, instead of, create or continuous pattern of thinking. They are really not healthy in the long run. That means healthy maybe for you in this moment, and then that's okay. But in the long run, they will cause other problems. And this has to do with where you're anchored in. So if you're anchored in, oh, I have a problem, you always come back to this old frame. So here's the thing. Those old frames are not going away. And that's an issue. And I see that you may have partial results and partial good results. As I said, all programs out, none of them is a bad program, so to speak. If you're not resonating with it, it's probably there's a reason for. If you resonate with it, there's a reason for. Then please go with that. But as I said, it took me a long time to get to this point to say, okay, but you need to come from the highest level. It's like you need to come from home base first and bring love to anything you're doing. If you don't, then rather don't do it. If you do something half-heartedly, so to speak, then don't do it. That is a waste of your potential. Then really be honest to yourself, say, I don't want to do it. And that's much healthier than saying, yeah, because this person said so, yeah, we're going. And then at the end, you will be completely disappointed because you're not getting what you're asking for. And that's, I have gone myself through different programs, different ones, where I thought, oh my God, I don't get what I want. And but I have been also through programs where I thought, wow, that was well done. So I feel it needs to be more and more that we need to come with the highest potential, with your capacity that is felt probably as loving to yourself first, and loving to then everything around you as a result. And we want that to increase. And anything you do, you bring that in. So that's the overall of the program. It's not really difficult. So we talk about the home base, so to speak, and then there are aspects that needs to be changed, and how do we change it to a more healthier state. So that's the whole ball game. And the first program will be exactly explaining every single detail that needs to be done, at least in an overview. So when you come in the first time with, joining that program, it's getting you a foundation, and from that foundation, you are capable of going on by yourself. If you like to improve, I'm already planning on the next part of the program where we just deepen. So it's not a change of something new. No, we are using what we're having, and you're building on what we're having. We can increase the intensity or the quality of that what we are doing. And so we already then build up and potential for you, like you already have then some practices or some self-love practices for yourself. You already put that into your daily activity, and you will have already results. And with results, that's actually motivating. It's coming from the inside. You will, just feel like, oh my God, yeah, that works for me. And so that's this inner motivation. So I don't even need to say anything anymore. You want to go for more, and you will find your own ways. So that program is also to just ignite you as like a catalyst, right? So in a chemical reaction, so we hook together for a moment to create a transformational process, but then you and I, we are leaving independently, untouched. So that's the most I can do for anyone, because you are your own living being, you have your own agenda, so to speak, you have your reasons to be here. And if you don't feel like you're fulfilled yet, or you feel like you're draining the life force energy out of you, those are good signs that, like, let's look for that. You're not on your potential yet. You're not on the hook where you can be in order to bring that in. So I do meet every day people. It's like when you see them, it's like, well, some I know for a longer period of time, and then you see faces where they start to change. They're very excited and enthusiastic in the beginning about their job or about their new partnership, and then you see them along, a couple of days later, so to speak, so a while later. And then you wonder, you see transformation happen in that person. May a weight gain, may worn out, or they may be even more shiny. So what I'm looking for is for it more shiny, because that is what makes my day, to see you transforming into a more shiny person, the beam that you can be. All right, so let's talk about then tomorrow more details, and we'll see how, I'm more inspired because I'm living it now more daily. I'm more inspired every morning. What will be the transformational information for today for you guys? So that's more what I'm going with, and I'm allowing myself to have. For you, also the demonstration that this is a process. There are things I don't know, and I'm okay with, I don't know, but I bring in my ability to transform and change, and isn't that what it's all about? Life is coming and going, and it's just moving, if you want it or not. But wouldn't it be better that you feel like you know what to do when things are happen, and you're relaxed enough to even take your anxiety into your own heart, so to speak, into your own arms, and say, well, I'm excited that I'm right now anxious. So that is okay. That's all okay until it all becomes more even and balanced. So I like that better. I am okay that things are sometimes this way and sometimes that way. It's all subject to change. And in the whole time, I'm not losing my center. When I lose it, I bring it back. So that's all okay. That's all what's needed. And as more as we do that, as more you understand your strength and your core, your center, your central information, as more you understand that, as more you can bring this across with no effort, right? So that's where I want to have you as well, because that feels the most healthiest that I think one can be. And it doesn't mean you're not passing eczema or sneezings or colds. That doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you're not losing maybe a partnership, but it means that you're not losing yourself, and be pulled and feel more in capacity of yourself and your power. So let's see us next time, and I'm excited to hopefully see you in the program. Soon we will come up with the page where you can sign up for it, but just keep it for that moment alive, the idea, and see you then tomorrow. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.